It was a sense of bewilderment in which Accra's North Industrial Area on Tuesday witnessed one of the city's wildest ever daylight robberies in recent times, when at least 4 armed men attacked a motorbike dealership and fled with their booty amidst a barrage of gunfire. The armed robbers are said to have subsequently swapped cars 2 times after they left the scene of the robbery, accosting the owners at gunpoint. JoyNews' Mohammed Mahama was at the scene shortly after the incident and filed the following report of eyewitness accounts, including the staff of the dealership that was robbed.
It was around 9:30 a.m. when the armed men, posing as customers, entered the premises of the motorbike dealership, Royal Motors, in a black Toyota saloon car. A security guard, curious as to why they were attempting to enter the main yard rather than the sales office, ordered their vehicle out, only to be confronted by the armed men.
I was here, then a car came outside. I went out to find out what exactly do they want, and they said they are coming to make an inquiries about the motors. So I tell them that when you are coming to make an inquiry, they should park outside. So they parked the car at where this man has parked his car. So I came in because a gentleman brought in a waiver that I was about to book. So I was just recording the thing. By the time I realized, one of them with a gun hold me, pushed me to this place. Then he took me to this end.
They then moved on to the main administration in the office complex, shooting their way through the front door after it was bolted shut by the occupants.
I saw one man putting something on the face, pulling the security man to come inside the yard. So over then, I rushed and locked my main gate. And one of our manager, the marketing manager, I quickly shouted his name. Baba Lassan and Roberts are here. So they put a gun, a warning shot. So over there, I was scared. I quickly ran to his office and I went under his desk.
The workers tell JoyNews they suspect the attackers had information from an insider, as they appear to know their way about the premises, particularly where the CCTV console was kept.
They took the money, 8,000 Ghana, in my drawer. They went to my purse, they searched, they took everything. Now my bag is empty. My bag is empty. There's nothing there. So I suspect someone gave information out. Because the way they did, it's like personal attack. It's like a personal attack to me. Everything is gone.
One of the victims, the marketing manager, said he felt lucky to be alive, having come so close to being killed.
I was lying down here. They said, get up, get up, get up, get up. Then he shot it. Boom! And I said, my God. Praying hard. I'm telling you, like I died. They were shooting here. Look at the monitor. They condemn it. I'm telling you, the gunshot. It's only God. I thank God. Wallahi, it's a lie. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. That's what I can say. I'd never seen something like that before. And I never expect this, so kind of thing will happen in this office. I don't know what is happening.
The robbers, after fleeing in the black Toyota saloon vehicle amidst firing of their guns, attacked another vehicle about 1 kilometer away from the scene when their getaway car got damaged. Mobile phone footage obtained by a bystander shows the robbers transferring their booty into the second vehicle after pulling out the driver at gunpoint.
So I say, who is this? So when I was about to cross, they asked me, do you want your life or you give us way? And I said, So in fact, I got scared. So when the 10 finished, they started shooting. Bah, 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 3 shots. I picked my phone to call police. I was shaking because I've not met such a thing before.
The getaway vehicle, which broke down, is now in police custody. JoyNews is learning the robbers seized another vehicle in a second carjacking several kilometers away at Ablekuma. Mohammed Mahamad's report for JoyNews.
And meanwhile, the Accra Region Police, which moved in shortly after the break-in, has opened investigations into the incident. 3 vehicles which were swapped at separate times of the robbery attack had been impounded by the police, while a search was continuing for the armed men. Well, Public Relations Officer of the Accra Region Police, ASP Fiatenge, tells my colleague Komladum that the driver of one of the occupants of the snatched vehicles is currently receiving treatment at the hospital.
There are several cases that we've had good information right on time that we've been able to respond to scenes and battle with them. You know, we have them, a number of them.
You say that 3 of the vehicles are in your possession. How did you retrieve these vehicles without getting the people who were using the vehicles?
Yes, as I indicated, the first Toyota Corolla, the blue-black Toyota Corolla they used, you know, to enter the premise of the scene, that one was 2 number plated, which of course we strongly suspect that it might have been stolen from someone. They bumped into another wine vehicle, a VW vehicle, and when they bumped into that vehicle, I don't know whether they were facing some challenges, so they quickly had to just abandon it there, and also quickly cross another vehicle, and they shot the driver in the arm, and they were able to make away with that vehicle. They packed the booty into that ash vehicle and they sped off. Yes, so the blue one was abandoned. The one that they crashed into or they bumped into, that one was also there. We also got the driver. And then also the ash one too. We also have the driver also here that I have personally spoken to. And one where as well as the ash one that was abandoned somewhere at Anya, that we have all we are working on, because they do us a lot of help, you know, to be able to get to the end of these kind of issues.
You talk about the driver of the vehicle who was shot. Do we know where he is at the moment and what his condition is?
Actually, the last time I checked, he was receiving treatment at the hospital. He was actually driving someone. So it's the person that we have with us who was also giving us his statement. But I have not personally seen the driver. But when I found out, he was okay and he was receiving treatment.
There's been some concern also by some of the onlookers or witnesses around the place. They say the response you gave was a bit delayed to the extent that the people could stop over, change vehicles. Some of the money fell off the car. They had to gather the monies onto the next vehicle and still make away with it.
I bet to differ with that. Anyway, as I always say, we are all entitled to our opinion. But look, by the time the police even got to the scene, you know, these robbers had already escaped. And they had even gone with the phones of even the employees. So how were they even able to call the police on time? These are some of the challenges. But when it happens that way, it is always the police that bear the brunt. I won't deny it or where we got to the scene. But let us also forget, before they were coming, they had planned that operation. And they knew what they were doing. It was until we got there to free them, they were still kept hostage.
And already we're getting a lot more links from the police. Then the Director of Public Affairs, the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Oklo, is indicating that investigations have resulted in the rounding up of a number of suspects over the incident.
2 people have been arrested and are assisting the police in investigations in respect of this morning's robbery at Royal Motors. They were made a few hours after the robbery was reported, so they are assisting us in investigation. It is too early yet to give further information, but for now, 2 people have been picked. And in addition to that, other arrests have also been made in respect of the Forest Bureau robberies that have been reported around the Spinters Road. Now, 9 people are currently in custody and also assisting us in respect of those Forest Bureau and the mobile money joint robberies.
Now, all these arrests you're talking about in relation to the attacks on the Forex Bureau, were all these arrests made today?
No, those arrests, those were earlier made within the week.
All right. Now, so let's stick with the arrest of the 2. Are these the people who were involved in the armed robbery this morning, or they're probably accomplices?
They are being questioned to enable us to determine the extent of their involvement, but we strongly believe that they are connected to the robberies that have happened. Meanwhile, the others are also on the run, but we are aggressively pursuing them so that we can get them to face the rigors of the law. Some items, including vehicles in connection with that robbery, have been intercepted, and they are currently with the police, and they are with vital tools in getting those who are behind it. So yes, some items have also been intercepted, and we are examining it to determine the connection, and they will also be very vital in getting the real perpetrators.
The police has been criticized about their responsiveness, how promptly they responded to the crime. What do you have to say about that?
Israel, I can say that our response time has improved tremendously, especially with the establishment of the 3 emergency command centers that we have at the headquarters, Kumasi, and
well, until we understand the demographic changes in our society and design strategies in line with these changes, we will continue to see worse and more daring armed robbery cases. And that's according to security expert Dr. Kwesi Enin, who explains that an intelligent and pervasive type of policing is what is needed to deal with the increasing spate of crime in the country. Dr. Enin, who was speaking on JoyNews Current Affairs program, the PM Express, hinted there has been a 45% increase in crimes within the spate of 1 year in Ghana.
We are seeing almost a 45% growth in the 5 major crimes in Accra within the space of a year. Okay? Now, a disaggregation of these crimes and our abilities to respond to them in terms of using the prosecutorial service even paints a much more damning picture. That if you look, less than 5% of all crimes in this country are solved. 82% of the crimes in this country are still, in inverted commas, being investigated. So if we take, for example, the first quarter of 2017, there were almost 18,000 incidences in Accra alone. Out of these 18,000, almost 6,400 were recorded in January. 7.5% were sent to court. 2% were convicted, so terribly low conviction rates. 0.11 acquitted. 5.37 still awaiting trial. 11% undetected, and 82% still under investigation. If we go back to 17 years ago, the number of cases that are being investigated has consistently remained around 65% to 80%. So we have a backlog of cases that are unsolved, and it creates this impression that your ability to commit crime and escape and be free is pretty high. And it's not going to change. Well, let me repeat this point that I've consistently made. If we don't
And we'll bring you a lot more updates on this on the show. But let's move on. The Education Ministry says it will initiate criminal proceedings against teachers of the Ejusumine Senior High School in the Ashanti region found to have sexually exploited some students of the school. The Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, who revealed this on the Pulse Tuesday, said apart from the precautions or the prosecutions, there would be other disciplinary actions taken against the teachers. A 7-member committee tasked to investigate the allegations is said to have concluded that its work has been done and is expected to present its report to the ministry by the close of the day. Dr. Yao Osei Educhum told Gifty Ando Apia on the Pulse the ministry would also act on the report when it is submitted.
Our people to know, at the Ejusumine Senior High School, on all schools around the country, that the Ministry of Education will not tolerate cases of sexual harassment and child abuse. These are, if it's true, seriously criminal offenses and will liaise with the law enforcement authorities beyond taking any action professionally against them. If it turns out to be true, we'll have to hand them over to law enforcement for them to be dealt with. We do not tolerate this. The minister wants me to make it clear to the parents and to all Ghanaians, and also to all teachers and staff, that child abuse, sexual harassment of our students has no place in the Ministry of Education, and for that matter, in any of our schools.
And already some parents of the victims are requesting transfers of their children, fearing they may be victimized and stigmatized. But Dr. Educhum says if any transfers would happen, it should be the alleged perpetrators. Also responding to reports that some of the girls were hauled before the school's disciplinary committee after disclosing the ordeal to Love News, he said the ministry had advised against such moves.
There were allegations that some of the students who were bold enough to come out and talk about the allegations were being held before a disciplinary committee. I spoke with the regional director about it, and I told her in no uncertain terms that if that is true, it should be stopped immediately. If anybody should be transferred, I would say that it's going to be once the report comes out, the perpetrators will be out of there. And anybody who wants to victimize will be ashamed of himself or herself to victimize people who have already been victimized. There should be no double victimization. We're going to have a meeting with the parents after the report comes out, and we will assure them that nobody should be able to victimize these students. They are courageous young women who should be applauded for helping uproot such bad practices from a great institution as a Jusumai Senior High School. I can understand why any parent will say, you know what, I'd rather check out of here because I did not send my child to school for this kind of crime to be perpetrated against her. So I can seriously understand that. But we are also going to be communicating with them.
Well, we have to move on and stay on some party politics. And the Upper West Regional Secretary of the ruling New Patriotic Party, Hafiz Bint Sali, has revealed that the party will institute investigations into allegations that the role of municipal and district chief executives played a critical role in supporting some aspirants in the just-ended constituency executive elections. Well, some aspirants accuse some MMDCs in the region of working to ensure that they were defeated at the polls. They allege some even funded and secretly campaigned for their favorite. Rafiq Salam has more.
Upper West Regional Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Hafiz Bin Sali, stated that the conduct of the constituency executive election in all 11 constituencies in the region to a large extent was successful. He said they didn't experience any act of violence in any of the constituencies. Mr. Bin Sali noted that the new executives who were elected had an onerous duty to work to increase the fortunes of the party in the region or maintain the standard set by their predecessors.
They have a huge responsibility. If the outgone executives were able to get 5 out of the 11 seats, and now there are new crop of executives, it only stands to reason that they need to work extra hard so that at least if they cannot improve upon that, but they should be able to maintain. But my happiness stems from the fact that out of the 11 chairmen, constituency chairmen, six of them are old guards. 6 contested, and all the 6 were able to retain their position.
He was not happy with a seeming rift between some of the aspirants and some municipal and district chief executives in the region. Some of the aspirants, especially the incumbent chairman who were seeking re-election, accused some MDCs in the region of working to topple them by secretly campaigning and sponsoring the campaigns of their perceived rivals.
Some of this information has come to my attention, and we shall investigate. if indeed DC is selected some aspirants and supported them, if that is proven, we shall report to the appropriate authority for the necessary action to be taken. It is something that must be condemned. DCs are not supposed to take sides, because these are the people you'll be working with. If you supported someone and the person lost, and then the person you did not support is now the chairman or the secretary or an executive, how do you expect that person to cooperate with you?
37-year-old businessman Alhaji Mohamed Donko contested for the chairmanship position in the Lora constituency. He beat his closest challenger by 7 votes. He said his aim now is to unite the party to retain the Lora parliamentary seat and also increase the popular votes in the presidential election in the 2020 polls. Meanwhile, the Wa Municipal Chief Executive Alhaji Tari Saku Momen has congratulated the newly elected executives of the Wa Central constituency led by Chairman Ali Kamara.
I wish to identify myself with the clarion call made by the chairman-elect, Chairman Ali Kamara, reaffirming our resolve to run the affairs of leadership in an open and all-encompassing, transparent manner.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam.
And before we go, the assemblyman for Agina East in the Esujamai district of the Eastern region is warning that the Agina Senior High Technical School in the district could be hit by an outbreak of cholera unless the school takes another look at some of its practices. Hayford Agbanyaga is particularly worried about the proximity of the school's makeshift kitchen, which apparently is close to a toilet facility used by the students. According to him, flies from the toilet facility settled on food prepared for the students. Correspondent Kwame Yanka filed the following report.
Agina Sectec has long been known to have infrastructural challenges. Its population increased from the regular intake of 400 students to over 1,200 after implementation of the free SHS policy. This has put severe pressure on its limited resources. Currently, an area of concern for the assemblyman of the area, Hayford Agbanyaga, is the condition of the school's kitchen.
The entire secondary school or secondary technical school has no kitchen. It is just a structure raised, fenced with a roofing sheet, and they are in it cooking. That is the kitchen. No store, nothing. And they call that place a kitchen that supplies food for the bodies. And this is a community or a town that has the entire Akosombo Dam on its land. Very pathetic. The kitchen lies in between the girls' dormitory and the toilet. So the girls they just move from the dormitory, bypass the kitchen, then the toilet. So flies move from the toilet just to the kitchen. And the distance between the kitchen and the toilet is just about 2 meters. So in terms of cholera outbreak, how are they going to survive?
Mr. Agbanyaga is also not happy about the state of the girls' dormitory, part of which has been partitioned to serve as a store.
Formerly, it was just a small room used as a dormitory. So as the number keep increasing, they have to break away the washroom and convert it to a dormitory, and then rebuild a different place as a washroom for the girls. So that come the situation is like that. How should you partition the girls' dormitory with the kitchen with a board? Not even sealed, open up like that. If they were to be boys, they would have broken into the store and picked some of the items away. But these are girls who don't have that bad mentality to do it, or they don't have the strength to do those things.
Authorities of the school refuse to comment about the challenges. Kwame Yanka's report for JoyNews.
And that's it for the latest news headlines. But it is your birthday today. Theodoric Segbafia, you're the sales manager of Rana Motors, and from Robert Tete Coleman, who is the chief executive for Wembley Sports Complex. They are the initiators in collaborating with government on the One Constituency, One Turf initiative. And he says that have a great happy birthday and enjoy your day. He says, Mr. Segbefia, your lunch is on him. So Robert Tete Coleman will be sending you a cake and taking you for lunch. Good morning to you, Robert Tete Coleman.